three Vols selected to the combine. That's very good news for them because that means the NFL basically thinks that you're going to get drafted. What do you make of the three Vols that got invited to the combine? One is very familiar and should be able to take his errant passing all the way up to Indianapolis.
Yeah, we should just to name him ahead of time. It's I think that gives one away.
Joe
Milton is one. Kamal Hadden is the other, and Jaylen Wright is the third. It's actually kind of shocking to me. I'm going to write a column on this guy today, and I think we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll save this, but if you look at Tennessee's all SEC selections, their NFL Combine invites, it's among the fewest in the SEC. Now, I realize they weren't a top 5 team last year, but the math ain't mathin', because they were a middle of the pack at the very least SEC team this past year, but the numbers would suggest they were at the bottom of the pack in the SEC. So I'm going to try to break that down a little bit.
All right. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Before I get, we'll make that a down, actually. Cooper, what should people do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
Thanks, Coop. What down?
Coop here. First down.
All right, I'm going to start on these guys, okay? And then I'm going to tell you who's going to be the best pro here in a second. That is not invited to the combine. It's not on this list. All right, who will have the best combine? That's first down. That's pretty easy. It's Joe Milton, workout warrior. However, I'll say this. They do a throwing. If I'm him, I don't throw in Indianapolis at all. I throw at my pro day when I've got my players that I'm comfortable with, because one incomplete pass in a combine setting is bad. And just one. In a pro day, it's awful because you've had a chance to go through that. But I think still Joe Milton will have the best combine, but his draft status will be determined by throwing at pro day. Because if he throws at the combine, he's gotten very bad advice, Caleb.
I don't know. I actually disagree. I think I would throw at the combine because we've seen
it's not his guys. It's not his guys. I promise. It's not it.
But he doesn't have to process quickly. That's what that's what's going to help him at the combine.
No. Okay, let's clarify. I'm fine with him throwing to one-on-ones, single routes. Yeah. I don't want him going out there repositioning his feet, which he doesn't have great footwork, and doing all that. That's what I don't want him doing. He needs an agent. He's one of the guys that needs an agent by his side the entire time. And the pro day at Tennessee, I would think, would be much better if you're throwing to guys like Ramel Keaton, Jacob Warren, guys I think it'd be a lot better. And I bet some of the players would come out that are still currently Vols, and because he's so popular, they would go ahead and run routes for him too. So I think he would look good at Tennessee. I think there's a chance he could look really bad in Indianapolis.
I still think I agree, though. In general, he'll have the best combine because they're going to fall in love with him because of his physical attributes. And we talked last night on the phone, guys, about players who may have wowed at the combine from Tennessee. I don't have the stats in front of me. I didn't do the research, and I don't even know if the combine exists. But I mean, let's be honest. Heath Schuler was the number 3 pick in the NFL draft because he was so physically gifted. And I mean, how the NFL, one thing that never fails in the NFL, no matter how many years it's they're proven wrong, coaches can't resist the quarterback that has all the physical tools. They just can't.
Or even the player. I mean, if the guy has special ability, I can coach it up. I can take care of that. That's no problem.
It's like the toxic girl that you just can't walk away from. You're like, I could fix her. I can make her wifey material.
Exactly. What down, Coop?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
All right, who's the best player out of this class? So give me again the 3 that were invited, so everybody knows. 3 invited to the combine. So theoretically, they should be the 3 in this class. But if you've got a draft pick, who are you spending on first? Because mine's not of this trio.
All right, the 3 out of this class, Jaylen Wright, Kamal Hadden, and Joe Milton. I'm going to willingly say that Jaylen Wright is the best player. That is the player I would draft the highest out of this class from Tennessee. I draft Jaylen Wright.
You want to guess who I would draft? Who would be my first Vol drafted if I were a GM in the NFL?
I'm actually at a complete loss, Dave, and I'm gonna feel stupid when you say it because I probably know. I probably know where you will remember, but I'm just at a loss at this moment.
Let me help. Receiver.
Ramel Keaton.
Yeah. Here's what I think about Ramel Keaton and what I've been told. Not incredibly physically gifted, but an incredibly hard worker. I think he can make a team for special teams. I think Joe Milton, we have questions there. We have questions about Wright long term, just because he's a running back. Okay. Nothing personally against Wright, but he's a running back. So you could get 3 or 4 years. I think you could get 7 or 8 out of Keaton as a special teams player and a complimentary receiver. And then I want to talk about Hadden up next. What down, Coop?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
Okay, which of the 3 that we mentioned that are going to the combine will be drafted the highest and have I'm gonna wait for the best NFL future, but will be drafted the highest of those 3?
It's going to be Joe Milton because he's going to wow at the combine, and there will be an NFL GM that just can't resist those physical tools. That just can't resist it.
You think Joe Milton's going to go higher than the other 2 cats?
Yeah, because Kamal Hadden still has to fight off the injury bug because he just had a season-ending injury. That's going to be a concern for coaches. Jaylen Wright, you just brought it up as a running back, and people don't want to waste draft picks on running backs. Joe Milton, there is going to be somebody that sees what he can do. And then also, here's the other thing. If Joe Milton gets a smart agent, that agent, whether that be his uncle or dad or whoever was talking to us on YouTube, Dave, if they're going to talk to us, you know what they're going to tell scouts. They're going to talk about all the injuries Tennessee dealt with at receiver last year, right? They're going to point out the number of all SEC players, aren't they? And they're going to say they're going to say, look at Tennessee's all SEC players. Look at their injuries. Joe Milton didn't work with a lot last year. That's what an agent's going to sell on for Joe Milton. And if GM's going to fall for that.
Well, nobody agrees with me. So right now, you have Dave, you feeling okay this morning? I'm feeling great, except for the fact that we got a puppy who didn't let us know they need to go outside at 2 a.m. That was a bit of a surprise in the bed. So, and then Hands of Stone Keaton, no way. I'm getting completely disagreed with. And then we have Hadden will go before all. If not for the injury bug, would it be a lock that he would go number 1?
No, I don't think any of these guys are first day picks or second day picks. I think all of these guys are 4th to 7th round picks. And I think Joe Milton's going to throw himself into a 4th rounder. I do. He's barely a draft pick right now, and he's going to throw himself into a 4th rounder. Scouts will fall in love, guys. And again, this is why that all SEC and number of Vols invited to the combine is relevant, Dave. That's a really big selling point for Joe Milton, isn't it? Can't he say, look, I didn't have any all SEC weapons. I didn't have any weapons invited to the combine. Look at what I was working with. He can actually sell that now to GMs because Tennessee's had so few players receive postseason recognition.
Okay, so that's the crux to the issue. You think he's going 4-ish. I think he's going 7-ish. So that's ultimately.
I don't think he's 4-ish I don't think he's 4-ish caliber. I think he should be 7-ish.
Yeah, no. You're talking about landscape, positions they play, all of that. I think he's more around 7. I think Wright's more around 4. And I think Hadden will be more around 4. So that's where we basically differ, which leads us to 4th down. Who will be the best pro? 4 downs, 4 seasons, brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. Mention Off the Hook Sports. Get $500 off your spa. And they deliver to K-Town, kids. Having the best spas made right here in the United States of America in your backyard. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Their showroom is open in Athens, right off the interstate. You can stop by and check out the best hot tubs and spas in the market. And in delivery, yes, they can do that to Knoxville or Chattanooga. They've got complete support, spa cover, and chemicals to keep your spa bubbling at its best. They also have pool chemicals as well. Dynasty Pools and Spas, amazing discounts for first responders, military, and even some blemish models that can save you a ton, and no one will ever notice. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Go to dynastypoolsandspas.com or stop by that showroom in Athens. dynastypoolsandspas.com. Dynasty Pools and Spas.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
Who has the best NFL career out of the 3 cats we're talking about going to the combine? Hadden, Milton, or Jaylen Wright?
So even though I said Wright's the best prospect and Milton's going to go the highest, I'm being a communist here. I'm naming everybody equally at some point. I'm going to say Hadden, and the reason is I think Hadden is the type that's going to get drafted into the right situation because teams are going to see what Hadden can do, and there will be certain teams that are like, he fits our defense well. They'll draft him, and he'll actually be able to be a reliable fit at cornerback. And also, Hadden talks a lot, and y'all can say what you want about that, but coaches love cornerbacks who talk a lot, don't they? That's a position where they want you to have a lot of edge.
True. I see him more as a special teams player, but I think Jaylen Wright has the biggest impact on the team. I think it's shorter. I think it's 4 or 5 years because he's a running back. But I think at the end of the day, if it's your favorite NFL team and you've got to choose between the careers in retrospect that you get out of those 3 guys, I think you'll look back and you'll say, man, we got 5 good years out of Jaylen Wright and didn't have to spend a lot of money on a running back. I don't think that you'll get that out of Hadden. I think you'll get a longer career, quite possibly, but I don't think you'll. I really believe Wright's going to make a Pro Bowl or 2. Now, I didn't say all pro, okay, because Pro Bowl is oftentimes you're going down the list of the fourth or fifth best guy, but I actually think Wright will make a couple of Pro Bowls. Am I crazy?
Okay, but I think you know who Kamal Hadden is to me, and I say this as a Titans fan.
Who?
You ready? You know, he's going to be a Cortland Finnegan in the NFL.
Oh.
Just that chippy cornerback who just really gets under your skin. You know what I'm talking about? Like that guy that'll start fights with the best receiver just for the heck of it. Cortland Finnegan wasn't that good of a cornerback, guys. But Jeff Fisher loved him because he had such a edge to him. And that's actually the one thing I give Jeff Fisher credit for was sticking by Cortland Finnegan.